time to get in the huddle with your host, Charles Brodge Ritchie, here on the Mad Steel Podcast.
This thing belongs to Mr. Roney, belongs here, and let's see if we can bring this damn thing back here next year, along with the Super Bowl. Here we go.
The game is over. The Pittsburgh Steelers did it the hard way. With the 10th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Devin Bush, linebacker, Michigan.
And welcome back, everybody, to this edition of the Mad Steel Podcast here with me, Charles Project Ritchie, as we are coming to you live right here. And for those of you joining on Facebook Live, you can find my Mad Steel Podcast page, Men of Steel Podcast. That's at Men of Steel Nation. And of course, you can also catch me streaming live right now on Instagram, Men of Steel Nation. And, of course, my YouTube channel, Men of Steel Podcast. I know it's been an up and down season, to say the least, right now. I mean, starting off earlier in the week, aside from losing their fourth game of the season, where the Steelers are 1-4 right now, and going into against the Chargers, where the Steelers have won last time, despite their miserable road performance woes on the road, West Coast. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, who actually, as a matter of fact, right now, you got to believe this is it right now. Time to snap out of it. I mean, if they don't win this game, I mean, more than likely, this season can get a little uglier. For their only sake, is just that they can hope the division continues to be mediocre the way it's doing right now. Still find themselves 2 games out of first place. And I was watching a little bit yesterday on the way home, agree or disagree, with Bob Labriola and Mike Pursuta and Missy Matthews. And a lot of things, too. They were like asking if 8-8 was going to be enough to get this division. Mike Pursuta was thinking that it probably had to be like about 9 wins. But when you look at the way everything's shaping up at this point in time right now, I mean, you got both the Browns and the Ravens at 3-2. And, of course, I mean, you're going to have, I mean, right now, at this point in time, excuse me, the Ravens are 3-2 and the Browns are 2-3. Excuse me, my bad. But, I mean, you're 2 games out, not that far off. You're 1-1 in the division. And you're 1-4 in common games so far. I mean, all your opponents that you faced. That's about a lot of stuff hitting the fan lately. And a lot. That's about a lot of frustration airing out. And speaking of frustration, too, I heard this story when I was coming on my way home. Also, too, that was reported by Mark Caboli yesterday of The Athletic right here. I mean, at this point in time, you had right now basically like a skirmish that occurred late yesterday, Wednesday. And basically, it started with scout team safety Cam Kelly, pop Juju Smith-Schuster. And before that, you had Marcus Allen slamming into James Conner and knocking him to the ground. Remember, these are right now, when you look at it and you see where it's at, you got Marcus Allen, who's one of your practice squad guys, but Cam Kelly, who didn't really do much of a good job in the first game against New England. And, I mean, the message is basically loud and clear right now for the Steelers. I mean, this is a quote coming from the defensive captain, Cam Hayward. Not necessarily both parties agreed, but Cam Hayward was saying, and quote, "It's the way I like to practice, and I hold people up to that account. We are not trying to let it get out of hand and leave it on the field." David DeCastro seemed to be one of the guys who was definitely involved in the skirmish right there. He wasn't too pleased about wanting to talk about what happened on the skirmish yesterday. Definitely said it was just a place he did not want to go to, and he was not pleased about. But still, I mean, you have some guys right here who right now the defense do feels like, I mean, you kind of get the sense that they're wasting some valuable effort on their part where, I mean, they're doing everything they can. I mean, since that San Francisco game, ever since Seattle, I mean, the defense has been playing solid when you look at it. I mean, overall, I think the Steelers right now at this point in time, when you really piece together and try and look and see what's been going wrong. I mean, the Steelers, which by the way, have been busting their chops overall. I mean, ever since, I mean, their last loss, I mean, just recently, of course, to the Ravens, Steelers have been doing pretty decent as far as in the sack department. I mean, when you take a look at it, I mean, when you really think about it, I mean, overall in the last two games, this team, when they've been coming out and getting ready, it's just right now they had 13 sacks in the last two games. And they're still in top 10 category as far as like sacks overall for the season, the pass rush, which is still continuing to do their part. They've been creating a lot more takeaways so far as a defense. I mean, when you really look at it. And let's go ahead and take a look at those numbers right now as the Steelers, which, by the way, right now for the moment, they are third in sacks right now in the league with 19. 19, I mean, when you consider like the way the season has been going overall. And then not only that, I mean, one of the biggest things too, I mean, they got 6 fumble recoveries and they got 12 takeaways on defense, which is leading the league. So obviously there's a little bit of a big time gap between the offense right now. I mean, where I'm looking at a guy like Randy Fichtner. And of course, like a guy like Keith Butler, who still got a little bit of questions. I'm not going to say he's necessarily out of the woods just yet, but I do like to believe right now that they have been grinding. I mean, you also got Devin Bush, who's been like your leading tackler of the year. And when you look at the injuries the Steelers have been going, I mean, you have Juju Smith-Schuster's been nursing a sore toe. Then, of course, you got James Conner, which, by the way, we're going to get to the injury report in just a second here, who not too long ago had an ankle injury, and he did not practice for 2 straight days, but was able to be a full participant last Friday, still be able to play against the Ravens. Here's the thing. I'm just going to say this real quick about the skirmish. I like the intensity. I like the attitude. I like the chipness. I'm starting to sense a group right now that's starting to try and be self-coaching. You almost got to get to see the feeling right now. Is it going to be one of those points right now where this team, I mean, a lot of people is looking at this team at 1-4, but can this be a team right now that could possibly be where they have team meetings only without coaches or personnel, where they're really starting to get in each other's face and start holding something accountable? I really start to believe right now at this point in time, when you look at it, They may have something going. We'll have to wait and see how it translates into this game against the Chargers. I mean, of course, on Sunday night. But then don't forget, you're going to take your bye week. You're going to have your home Monday Night Football game against the Dolphins and home against the Colts and the Rams. So you really got a lot of stuff to look across the board. You got to see what's working. What's the message you want to send here? And really right now, just basically almost just seems like they want to see who's being called out and who's going to be showing up right now. Right now it's just basically bring your lunch bucket right now. If you ask me, basically the message. And you just don't want to see. At the same time, you don't want to see it be senseless and cost another guy getting hurt. I don't think that's going to happen. But you don't want to let it cross that line. That's where a guy like Ramon Foster was coming in. There's a point you just don't cross, and where it starts affecting like your teammates. And I totally get that. I respect that a lot. But at this time, too, I can't really say I blame the defense on this one for this instance. I think they're just trying to send a message, trying to send a foot up the butt right now. And just to say, hey, listen, we still got something special we want to fight for. If you guys want to be a part of it, hop on. If not, get off. And I'm not saying they're going to try and cause like another divide like how they did last year. When the Steelers management, general manager Kevin Colbert, could come up with a new deal for Le'Veon Bell, and where like the offensive line and Ben Roethlisberger were started speaking out against Bell for no showing. But I'm not saying it's going to go there, but I think right now you get the sense of frustration. It's been a build-up over time right now. And it's just been a season that's been going south. Not only for this season, but since like the end of last year, when you finally beat a team like the Patriots, and then you lose in stunning fashion to the New Orleans Saints in the Superdome. And that's about it. That's all I could say right now about this time. I really feel like right now what you gotta look at is how you get this. Mike Tomlin right now, as long as he's still a coach with the Steelers, what do you do to get this team back on track right now? What's the message you want to send right now? Yeah, I remember right now. A lot of people are looking at this as more than likely going to be his first ever losing season, which we'll soon wait and find out. But again, I remember 6 years ago, 1-4, similar situation. The only big difference is they didn't have Ben Roethlisberger out for the season. And plus, they've been right now, having a lot to be looking at right now. They're trying to find answers. They're trying to see how they could salvage the season. And I like the intensity. And right now, I was like looking too. One of the biggest things too, a lot since people were questioning, well, why'd you give up a first round pick for a guy like Mika Fitzpatrick earlier in the year? I know that's one thing, and people are like looking at the season right now, and when you look at it, and when you see what's been happening here. It's definitely been a tale of two tapes right now. When you look at it and you absorb it overall. But, at the same time, too, this is a team right now and the front office who felt like they needed to make the necessary guts they had to do to make the moves they had to make. For right now, when you look at it too, overall, at this point, the front office is taking the gamble. They try to acquire a guy like Mika Fitzpatrick from the Miami Dolphins, who right now, by the way, was having a bad turnover season, as you can kind of relate. I mean, where they wanted to break up most of the team, a lot of veterans, a lot of players were just starting to bail on the franchise. But when you look at it too from that angle, and you see what they've been able to do right now, it's surely been a lot more questions than answers than anything. But yeah, I mean, what else can you say right now at this point in time? I mean, other than right now, you try and find, you try and just look deep into your soul. You look into your teammates. You look into your hearts right now, your accountability, and what you should do about this right now. You got the number if you want. Feel free to get in on the show. It's 312-209-2232. Again, that number is 312-209-2232. You can also follow me on Twitter at Prodigy Richie. You can also check me out streaming live on my Instagram stream, Men of Steel Nation, and of course my YouTube channel, Men of Steel Podcast, as we go further along. And like I said, when you look at a guy like Minkah Fitzpatrick and you look at the results right now the Steelers are doing, I mean, they're number one in takeaways. I mean, this is a team who's barely struggled last year to create interceptions. I mean, for God's sake. I mean, when you look at, I mean, right now, the Steelers, as a matter of fact, they have 6 interceptions versus a year ago when they had struggles trying to pick the ball. And by the way, they finished the season with 8 picks. They're about ready to smash that total. And a team who's also in that same year who ranked 29th in takeaways with 15. They got 12 right now, leading the league. So you got to definitely take a big time out real quick here. You got to see like how you can, Mike Tomlin right now and Butler and Fichtner can find a way to rally up the troops. Because obviously this is something still worth fighting for. And last time I checked, usually too, I mean, when you look at as well, I mean, Mike Tomlin, by the way, who has a decent road record, I mean, decent primetime record when you look at it. I mean, when you think about stuff like this, and right now, I mean, when you think about all the stuff they did overall, they got a lot right now to prove. But like I said, Mike Tomlin, by the way, to his credit, 18-12 in primetime games. So he's 6 games above 500. He has a much more better record at home at 19-5. And for a grand total primetime record of 37-17. I look for Sunday Night Football to be the stage where they can rebound. I know they failed to do that earlier this year against the Patriots. But I think the Chargers is somewhat doable. And plus, this team you had down by 16 points in the first half and were able to choke it away. I think they can find a way to salvage this right now. And we'll see where it goes. So we're on the opening drive right now, by the way. Also, just want to announce real quickly, too, this is also right now the 1-year anniversary so far of the Men of Steel podcast that got started a year ago on this date. And I didn't even start live streaming until around January of this year. I started doing regular audio podcasting. You can check out my stuff on Mixcloud if you guys want to take a listen to any of the Men of Steel podcasts there. Go on Mixcloud.com. You can check out the profile of Charles John Richey. That's Richey. Okay? So if you guys want to hear any replays, look them up right there. I got plenty for you online right there. All right. Also, too, right now, let's go on some other stuff here on the opening drive. It's tweeted out by Missy Matthews, the Steelers reporter, who we followed on Twitter at Missy_Matthews. Steelers running back Benny Snell on his mindset without Jalen Samuels. To fill my role and do my best up to this point, I've been prepared by James Conner and Jay Sam, and they prepared me. It's very tragic what happened to him, but I'll try to fill the role as much as I can. And yeah, that's definitely going to be a big if right there, too. So you're looking at like Jalen Samuels right now going to this weekend, being the number 2 back right now behind James Conner. I would definitely like to see how he excels in this role real quick here. Is this something he'll be able to answer the challenge? Remember, when he came from the University of Kentucky, his specialty was on those short yard situations. And right now, I mean, one of the biggest concerns, too, about going into this week, Randy Fichtner is unsure who's going to be the starting quarterback at this time. Because remember, you got a guy like right now as it stands, Mason Rudolph, who's still in concussion protocol. Remember, he was at the team facility about a day or two ago, but they're not sure if he's going to be able to make it in for this Sunday. And to be honest with you, I'll be fine if he does not start this Sunday. I'm going to be honest with you right now. I like what I saw in Devlin Hodges coming off this into this start. I mean, coming off the bench. I mean, when you watch this last game, even though they did lose to the Ravens, I think I saw a lot more energy right there. Obviously, they're playing in catch-up mode. But I tell you what, to see Mike Tomlin and them let him have the reins of firing away at this point in time and spraying the ball like he did, I was very impressed. I mean, this guy right here, who in his first ever game, I mean, coming off, I mean, obviously it's not a start, but in this game right here, I mean, when you looked at it, I mean, the last one they lost to against the Ravens, by the way, at home in Pittsburgh, it was definitely incredible to watch overall. I mean, you had a guy in here which, by the way, busted his tail out. I mean, for that team, did a lot what was asked of him, which hardly anyone expected from what he did in the preseason. And he made an instant mark. And that for the first time, I saw energy in an offense I haven't seen in a long while. I saw a big-time spark in there. And I know Mason Rudolph, they've been doing a lot more Wildcats, a lot more trick gadget plays as it relates. But a guy like Devlin Hodges, it's only one game so far. He hasn't started yet. But when coming off the bench, he went 7 for 9. I mean, for 68 yards, a 98 quarterback rating. So, I mean, that was big right there. I just really loved the stature what he did versus a guy like Mason Rudolph who went 13 for 20, 131 yards, a touchdown, got sacked once for 11 yards, and 55 QB rating overall. Or 100 QB rating, excuse me. But, yeah, I really did like what I saw in that. I think Hodges just definitely brought a lot more life, about a lot more energy, a lot more enthusiasm, a lot more of a drive. And I just don't know what else to say other than that. So let's go into another topic here as we're listening on the Men of Steel podcast here with me, Charles Bradley Ritchie. Right now, aside from that, also, as mentioned by Teresa Varley of Steelers.com, head coach Mike Tomlin said that Benny Snell is chomping at the bit to be a contributor. Tomlin was saying both guys are professionals, both guys are low maintenance, both guys are preparers. And, I mean, yeah, I definitely with him right there on that. I mean, when you look at it. I mean, this is a guy right now who's really looking at all hands on deck right now. You know Mike Tomlin right now. I know, I mean, for like the last 7 years, I mean, since he's been coaching this team, I mean, it hasn't been rosy at times. A lot of people are really starting to look at the legitimacy of what he was doing. I got Deborah Banks Walker out here. Thank you very much for the happy anniversary shout out. Saying we need a playmaker on offense. or lead, follow, or get out of the way. Yeah, I'm definitely with you right there too. And she's saying duck season. Yeah, you know what? I'm definitely with you in that regard. And I think right now, I mean, when you look at this season, what they've been doing, I think for right now, I mean, I'm liking Hodges. I mean, I dare we say, I mean, even though Mason Rudolph, who got quoted last year, who had a high, I think, first or second round grade in the combine, and got drafted in the third round, I say, I mean, listen, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Hodges right here. Guy who went undrafted. Shoot, I mean, dare we say we may have a quarterback controversy. Only time will tell on that right now. But I'm going to tell you right now, I mean, let's get into the fair or foul right now. Fair or foul that the Steelers should ease a caution and just let Devin Hodges start over Mason Rudolph. I'm going to have to say fair for right now. I don't like the idea of putting Rudolph right back into the thick of things just yet, putting into the fire. I know you're still trying to fight for a playoff season, but for right now, I mean, what's going to happen if you put him in there? Put him in there if he gets hit again, or if he gets hurt even more. I'm thinking right now, as long as Mike Tomlin is still the coach, and if he decides to stay on with the team beyond the season, I just think right now, I mean, don't ruin a guy's future right here, and a guy like Mason Rudolph. I think you want to preserve this guy for the long term more than anything. I mean, yeah, you're going to be well a first round draft pick, but I mean, you pretty much got some stuff done early. You got a guy like Mika Fitzpatrick who's been paying huge dividends with the takeaway department in the defense. And then you got a guy, Nick Vannett, a decent tight end right there. That was another nagging need. I mean, the Steelers did their homework right now. It just comes down to the matter of having a lot more ball security and drop passes. And those are the ingredients right there. I mean, other than that, this team could still get back in it. It's not a lost cause just yet as we get ready to look at it. Because right now, it'd be foolish to even look at this and say they're totally done. I understand the frustration here, but we still got right now. This is an 11-game season, and it's going to have to start right now. And somehow the Steelers can get at least, I mean, 7-4 or 8-3 the rest of the way. I think that's pretty doable right there. I mean, the only thing is along the way, like I said, I mean, when you go into your bye following this Chargers game, I mean, you're going to have to start off winning there. You're going to be at home against Miami Dolphins, Colts, and Rams. And then you got three straight AFC North opponents going on the road with Cleveland, then on the road against Cincinnati, then at home against the Browns. And then you wrap things up right there in that month of November. I mean, or not November, I think, the final games of the season, you go on the road against Arizona, then you're home against Buffalo, and then you're on the road for the final 2 games a year against the New York Jets and the Baltimore Ravens. Let's just see where time will tell, where things will take us back then. But it's not really a lost cause just yet. Right here, as we look at it. And another thing I want to get into here on fair or foul right now, Chris Boswell. So far back in form right now this year with the Steelers. I'm going to have to say fair for right now. I mean, Chris Boswell, who's been taking a lot of heat last year. I mean, when you look at, I mean, he missed a lot more extra points, or he missed 5 of them last year in 2018 overall. And he went, I mean, overall in that year, he went 20 or 13. He missed 7 field goal attempts in the scoring. Remember, 5 of those were extra points. He had 65%. He's 100% right now. He's going 10 for 10 right now this year, with his longest this year being 49 yards. So, I mean, that's pretty encouraging right there. And remember, this is the Steelers' organization who Cobra and company asked him to defer his $2 million roster bonus until the start of the season, and which he earned it right there. He had Matthew Wright right there, who came in there to try and challenge him in camp, a rookie. But Boswell definitely responded to the pressure. Remember, he had a groin injury towards the end of last year, and look at where he's at. And the guy, right here, who was looking at it too, by the way, Foster believed that the 5-year, $19.72 million contract Boswell signed late in August of last year had an effect on his kicking performance last season. He says, I'm happy for him because I know that getting a new contract, the pressure of 8 on him, and it showed. He was in a dark spot last year. And, of course, I definitely have to admit that. He definitely felt a little bit of pressure, but he's still a damn good kicker, in my opinion. And nothing but facts right now. He's 10 for 10 right now. And I tell you what, right now, it's definitely going to be a lot more interesting to see how much games are going to have to be decided at him. It's going to be closely contested games. Will we see more Boswell being a decisive factor where the tie or win the game right here? And that's what I'm looking at right now. You have to think it's got to come down to that, and we'll see. It might be one of those situations where he'll be in a decisive moment, and if he's clutching those moments, we'll find out. I will definitely say that for right now, that he could definitely be once again revered in Pittsburgh by the fans, and all could be forgotten to be water under the bridge. If this team could somehow make the playoffs, that'd be a freaking miracle in itself right there. When you really look at it and see how this thing has been going here at this point in time. And also, right now, the Steelers skirmish that occurred yesterday will benefit them in the long run. I'm going to have to say fair for right now, only because I have seen this team in a slump before. I've seen them play when they're angry. You look at a time where they once upon a time gave up the most points in their franchise history of 55 against the Patriots on the road in New England. Guess what happened? They went on a 3-game winning streak, defeating the Bills, the Lions, and the Browns, even though they lost 2 in a row against the Ravens and the Dolphins, but then still finished on the 3-game winning streak. At that point in time, which, by the way, they went 5-3 for the rest of the season, but it just goes to show you how much stuff they could light up. They could start getting to an urge and a little bit more of a rush right there. And that's going to do it for this edition of the Men of Steel podcast. I just want to say thank you to all of you for taking a look, especially right now to Deborah Banks Walker and all the people who have been following me throughout the year. Real quick, Ralph Blackwell, I'll give you a special shout out, and who've been follow me on my Facebook page, Men of Steel Podcast, at Men of Steel Nation, capital MSN. And then you can also check out my Instagram stream, Men of Steel Nation, and of course, my YouTube channel, Men of Steel Podcast. I also want to say thank you to the special guest if you're out there listening. Cynthia Freeland of NFL Network had you on there. It was great having you on there, watching on TV. Love watching your in-depth analysis. You can catch her on frequently throughout the year as she does a tremendous job. Cynthia Freeland, which, by the way, who can be followed on Twitter. Oh, never mind. But she's on NFL Network. Also had Olivia Weber, Pittsburgh model right there. I want to say thank you very much for being on my show multiple times throughout this past offseason. Fun having you on. All the stuff you've been working out, the deadlines of your son Grayson and everything, and what you've been going through relationship-wise in your life. Definitely been an awesome person with character. Keep up the great positive vibes. And then also I had Billy Hillgrove on earlier this year. Great legendary play-by-play announcer for the Pittsburgh Steelers since the 94 season, I want to say, 93, 94. since '94, and then of course former backup guard Chucky Colby, Super Bowl champion, with the one for the FUM team in '05. So I want to thank you to all those guests, and of course my other ones, my man Brian DiArlo, CBSSports.com, Anthony DeFeo behind the steel curtain, as well as Jacob Kliger, my original very first guest I started off with in sports media, host my shows, Penn Live. All right, guys, that's gonna take it to a wrap. As always, leave you. Don't be trolling, be rolling. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. I gone.